Senator Scott, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to thank each of you for being here. General Nakasone, first let's talk about China. Is there anything that China sells us? We have cranes now at the port in Miami that they're worried that there was the ability for China to surveil what we're doing at our ports. You look at what some of my colleagues have talked about, the risk of TikTok. Is there anything that China sells in this country that you don't believe creates a potential cybersecurity risk? And what would it be that they could sell us that wouldn't?
Senator, certainly you point to the challenge of cyber, which is a huge attack surface, right? There's whether or not you trade in some type of good or you trade in some type of commodity, there's always that opportunity. I think this points to the challenge that we have to be able to address, which is supply chain, to make sure that the elements of the supply chain that we operate, particularly within the Department of Defense, are secure.
So do you think that Americans should have, do you think it puts America at risk if Americans have TikTok on their phone?
My concern with TikTok, Senator, really is from two pieces. One is the fact that there's tremendous amount of data, and understanding where your data is critical, I think. And the second piece is the opportunity for influence. This is a means upon which you receive information or don't receive information, and that's where I always look at that in terms of being able to measure that risk.
So if you were running let's say one of our electrical grids in the country. If you were responsible, knowing now what you know in the job that you have now, would you buy anything from China? Would you allow the employees to have TikTok? Would you do any business? Would you buy DJI drones? Would you do anything knowing what you know and now in this job?
Senator, very difficult in the scenario that you point to our picture to imagine that you can really do that. I mean, there's so much of what we do is based upon international trade, and China has the corner on some things. I think what I would do is ensure that the areas that are most sensitive to our operation are well censored, and I have the confidence that what's being utilized there, I understand where that information may be going.
In a world where there was an alternative to every Chinese product and app and service out there, if there was an American alternative or American ally alternative to them, would you, at that point, if you were running one of these companies, would you guarantee that your company did no business with China if there was a good alternative? And would you think the same thing about our government, knowing what you know?
So again, coming back as a prospective, perhaps future business owner, I would take a very, very hard look of anything that was coming from an adversarial nation and being able to understand that.
Jerome Fenton, can you talk about what are the things you're doing to prepare your forces to deal with China, and where are they beating us, and and what do we need to do more and better, knowing that China doesn't like our way of life and wants to demolish our way of life?
Senator, I think the very first thing we're doing in Special Operations Command to focus the formation on the adversaries of China and Russia, but in particular China's reorienting the formation in terms of focus. There are a number of elements in our formation that understand the PRC and what they've been doing for years pretty well. But there's work that we've got to do to certainly bring in additional portions of the formation along. We do much of that through our education process in our schoolhouses at all the components, our Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine components, and frankly at our Joint Special Operations University. Understanding of the PRC and the PRC way of warfare, we knew that very well when we fought the ISIS threat. We understood how they were going to wage war, and now that's the understanding of the PRC. Second, I would say, is being present in any region and trying to understand their malign activities. As I mentioned before, diplomatic pressure from the PRC, economic coercion from the PRC creates clients and customers. We're out there to build partners and allies. And I think that also allows us to get a sense of what PRC's malign activities are globally. And then on any given sense, Senator, we're providing ranges of options for the combatant commanders and certainly for the Secretary to address either in deterrence, preparing and, if needed, to prevail. And you've got the best special operations team in the world to do that. And at the same time, we're presenting a lot of dilemmas to the adversary, the PRC.
Thank each of you.